Welcome RetroYuuki gamers, welcome to another Rust video. Today we are going to be talking about building and how building works in Rust and why it's important that your building is up to so-called building code, if you will, in Rust. So when you play Rust for the first time, it's imitating to look at. It's a survival game, it's building game, it's you have to learn how to build, and it's a lot of fun, but it's also a little bit frustrating if you're new. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about building now. On this particular server, it is a beginner server. It's called Mahut building block. It's a 10 times server and it's PvE. So what is a 10 times server in terms of what it is? So let's go ahead and go ahead and hunt wood with our stone hatchet. Hunt wood, I mean gather wood, I should say. That's the correct material word. So if we go ahead and get wood, you're gonna notice I'm gonna get 1,000 wood per strike, but normally you only get 100, if you will. So they multiply that thing by 10, or every material you grab is multiplied by 10, and you're gonna see that I have 20,000 wood than a normal server. So this is what you call a modified server. So right away you're off to a good start if you're on this server. But let's go ahead and learn about building. You need something called a building plan, which can be crafted by using the tab on your keyboard. The building plan is going to cost you about a few wood here, and the building plan is worth 20 wood. We can create a lot of these. So we put the building plan using tab and press the control key here, and the numbers on the bottom here are 1 2 3 4 5 6. Those are your shortcuts. So building, talk about building here. Building is one of the most essential parts of Rust. Without building, you cannot make a base, and without a base, you cannot survive in this game. But you may have noticed I already have a building, right? Well, yes. But it is more of a safety, temporary building here. It's more like my tutorial zone. But here, I'm gonna go ahead and build another one. And you also need something called a sleeping bag. We'll talk about sleeping bags in a moment. So, building. You want to find a place to build, but there's a few rules, or a few, not rules, but a few go-tos, if you will, about building, selecting a place to build. The first rule is, the first tactic, if you hold G on your keyboard, you're gonna see the map. What you want to look for is a place that you like, and following a few more rules. The first one is, I discussed it in my first video, talking about not building near landmarks like bandit camp and outpost. You want to stay away from there in a vanilla server, because a lot of people go there to get stuff. And once they leave the safe zone, they can kill you there. You want to build somewhere in the middle. For me, for this particular area, we're not even close. But we are close to gas station, which is a landmark. It's a mini landmark. So we can go ahead and build near gas station, which is around this corner. So if we go ahead and go gas station, so there's gas station, like right about at the top part of you. That's a gas station, which is not a bad start. That is not a bad place to build, near a gas station. Let's see how far we are from here if we go from here. Actually, down the road. But I want to play it safe, so we're going to go downstairs a little bit. So finding a place to build is your number one go-to, along with hunting for materials like wood. So here is a flatland, near flatland. It is actually not a bad place to build right here. So let's just say that we discovered our place to build. Actually, there's another player just nearby, but that's okay. That is a beginner server. You also need something called hemp. The reason why is because hemp will give you the opportunity to get cloth, and cloth allows you to make a sleeping bag. Very important item here in the world of Rust, as that is your respawn point in Rust. Right here is gas station, but we do need to keep in mind that you're not allowed to build near it or near the road, so you keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and build here. So you need something called a building plan. Press tab and you're gonna see if you have 20 wood, you're gonna see your building plan right here, this blue icon pop up. Click on that to craft a building plan for 20 wood. And we're gonna show you guys that in action. So this is how you build here in Rust. As you guys can see, it's red. It's red because you are close to either a landmark or you cannot build in this area because of the landmark of gas station. Gas station in this game is a landmark. So we can now build. Hold right click and you can see which type of buildings you can play with. And in the middle, you're going to see what type it is. On the bottom middle, you're going to see how much wood it will cost to build that particular piece. For example, this foundation is going to cost me 50 wood and I have 20,110. And you might be wondering how they get that many. This is called Mahut building block. It is a 10 times server and it's a PvE server. If you guys want to check this out, Mahut building block. I'm going to use this as a practice area along with another beginner server I play for my streams here on the main channel RetroYuuki. So we're going to show you guys how to build for today. So today we're going to be showing you a 2x2. 2x2 is 2 squares and 2 squares, so 4 square. So 1, so there's my first, there's my second, there's my third, and there's my fourth. Then we're gonna do something called wall. We're gonna build a wall. And then we're gonna have a doorway. Now, the next important item in Rust is called the TC or tool cupboard. Excuse me. It's called the tool cupboard, also known as the TC. This is an important item as it's like your, if you do housing market, rent, the word rent comes to mind. And the way you do that, you go to tab. If you have 1,000 wood, you see this boy, tool cupboard. I'm gonna go ahead and click that and craft it. I'm gonna move my food out of the way so I can do this. I'm gonna press 6 because that's where I put it. So I'm gonna place it around this corner. I'm gonna explain why in a moment now. I'm gonna actually add one more doorway and I'll explain why in just a moment as well. This is not just for show. This has something to do with protection and I want to explain it. And I'm gonna craft 2 doors. Now on this building server, they're almost automatic. Let me go ahead and craft my doors. Craft the doors right here. Okay, now that we have our base in play for the 2x2, now we have to do something called storing wood or upkeep. What you want to do is open your tool cupboard and you want to place wood. Now you may have noticed cost per 24 hours is 127 wood. That's 127 wood at the time that you put this wood in. Anytime you add stuff, you have to add wood to the tool cupboard. Now this is like your rent, okay? You are renting a space in Rust for your base. The 127 wood is required. I'm just gonna put in as much as I can. and I'll explain why in a moment. So protect it for 50 days, 5 hours, 6 minutes, 8 seconds. I will tell you that's going to quickly change once you add stuff. Now, our basic base is done in terms of structure. Now, our next important item is called the sleeping bag. The sleeping bag is crafted using 30 cloth, and that is made by hemp. So I see sleeping bag right here. Usually it's not that instant, but on this server it is. Now we're gonna press E and we're gonna name the bag base 2. I actually have another base in this server, but I'm using this for tutorial purposes. But the basic structure of the base is completed. Now we're gonna add a roof. So go back to your building plan. Now I'm gonna show you something first. I want you to pay attention to the difference. So right now our rent or upkeep is 127 wood per 24 hours. I want you to pay attention to what happens now. I'm gonna start building the roof by using a floor, something called the floor. Square floor. Now remember, we just added the wood, the roof. And if we go ahead and go back to this, go back to our tool cupboard, we went from 127 wood to 143 wood in terms of upkeep. So it went up, the upkeep went up because the rent went up because the wood came up. But that's what you have to keep in mind. Now, beginners, you're not really looking forward to like building extravagant bases. What you really want to do is start somewhere. Now that you have your base structure, now let's go ahead and upgrade. Now upgrading requires something called a hammer, which you can craft right here. Press Q and you type in hammer. Hammers require 100 wood to craft. So if we go ahead and craft our hammer here, we already did. To upgrade a piece of your base, hold right click and you're going to see this menu. Now on this building server, they're actually giving you something called kits. So you press enter slash and type in slash KIT and you'll be able to get all this good stuff. I'm going to say wood for the sake of this tutorial or guide. So right now I'm upgrading everything to wood in terms of like the outside. This is very important for later, especially when it comes to something called raids. Now I'm talking about raids as in people attacking you. Not the good kind of raids where on streaming get money and stuff. No, we're talking about people who get your stuff. Let me just make sure this is good. So now I've upgraded everything to wood. You may have noticed that it's about to change the upkeep. The upkeep now is 345 wood per 24 hours. So you see that when we started, the upkeep was 50 days. Now it's 18. So very quickly, you're going to have your upkeep go up as you build your base based on the way you want it. Now, that's building 101 there. You have your bed, you have the structure, you have your tool cupboard. Now, you need something for storage. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually build a separate section. You don't have to do this precisely the way I'm going to do it. I just want to show you how I usually do it. So I'm going to build a separate section here, which means upkeep is going to go up again. So I'm going to build a foundation. Let's see if it's going to let me here. Here we go. Remember that the thing needs to be blue. Okay. Now, on this server, they have a limit for you for that particular part. So 35. I have left 35. That is my separate section here. I'm gonna build another doorway and another door. So we'll go ahead and craft a door. And then there we go. And then for storage, go to Q and type in on the search bar box. You have a few types of boxes to play with. You have this large wood box, which also requires something called metal fragments. But for beginner, we have the wood storage box for 100 wood. Let's go ahead and craft that. Now let's make it more interesting now. We're gonna build a shelf. Like you would do like a storage shelf in the garage. To do so, before we do that, let's upgrade our base here. Our storage section. Wood. So that's all nice and woody, no pun intended. What we want to do now is we're going to go back to building plan. We're going to have something called a half wall. We're going to add something called a half wall. Then we're going to build a floor on top of this. Let's see, there we go. And then we're going to go back to the hammer. We're going to do something called demolish the half wall. And now you have a storage shelf. You just got yourself a storage shelf. Now we're gonna build the roof. And we're gonna upgrade said roof. Now, to build the shelf, we already built the shelf out actually. Now we just have to put in the storage boxes. So the way you want to do this though, if you're a beginner, you build 4, small 1. So I'm going to actually go ahead and craft 3 more. There we go. We're going to build 1, 2, and then to get upstairs, hold control, and then you want to jump with spacebar. It's crouch jump. 3, and then 1 more. 1 more for the road. And where is it at? Here we go. And there we go. There's our storage area, a beginner storage area. Now, obviously, I could have done this in the base, but when I first started Rust, I always built a separate section. Now, here's how the base looks after we added that separate storage area. I will tell you, this is everything I'm showing you is optional of how you want to build your base. It's up to you on how you build your base. I'm here to guide you as a beginner. Now, we forgot to upgrade one piece of a few pieces of the thing here. In this roof, I think we should be okay there. Now our upkeep is 645 wood per 24 hours. After all that, so you have to keep in mind your upkeep. Now, for a beginner, this is not bad, but there's something missing. I forgot to upgrade this part. No, never mind. I did. Let me just make sure. The next part, if you're a beginner, is you want to make sure your TC is protected. Oh, wait a second, Yuki. There's a door. Well, yes, there is a door. But what if I told you they can get through the back? What if I told you they can get through the back? Well, here's where something called honeycombing comes into play. So honeycombing, if you like a honeycomb, like a bee, you know how bees go to their house. It's like a triangle like this. Honeycomb. That's what you call honeycombing. So we're going to actually honeycomb the area where the TC is. So let's take a look at where the TC is. The TC is right here in this box. And I forgot to roof the TC area. Very bad if you do don't roof it. Because something called roof camper. But this box right here is going to be represented of this area. Hopefully it will let me. Let's see. Let me see if it's going to let me do a foundation. Yes. So what we want to do in this case, we're going to build a foundation here. But we're going to go to we're going to do a triangle. We're going to do a triangle. Triangle foundation. Here. 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 And here. And then we're going to wall off this area. So when we wall off this area, I'm actually going to get out, but I don't trap myself. So we wall off that area. That means your TC is protected and your stuff is protected too. And we're going to upgrade to wood. Do not forget to upgrade to wood or stone when you have the opportunity to. You gotta upgrade your stuff, especially if you're trying to learn vanilla. Right now we're learning how to play, so it's okay. But I would recommend you guys starting to learn how to upgrade to stone, wood, and all that good stuff. Making sure that everything else is here. I think we'll be okay here. Okay, good. So this area is now walled off. Your TC is protected. And you can also do the same thing for your storage area. So that is the storage area. Now remember, you can also honeycomb this. Now technically speaking, players can go from here and here. We're going to, let's see how much wood I have left. 3,000. I'm going to go ahead and stone hatch it. Some more wood to show you guys hunting, wood getting. Now keep in mind this is a times 10 server. So you actually get 1,000 wood per strike. But if you're playing vanilla, you're not going to get 10,000, 1,000. You usually get 5 to 15 per strike. And if you hit the X, get bonus. Okay, so I think I should have enough wood. Okay, excuse me. Hopefully I don't hit the limit though. So my foundation, I believe it was here and here and here. So now I'm going to wall off. I'm going to wall off this area. And now we have our protection. Just upgrade to wood. Upgrade those to wood. Let me make sure. Okay, good. Oops. I accidentally agreed to stone. And that's a mistake only because I don't have stone yet. And because of that, it actually added to the upkeep. Actually, I do have stone. Never mind. Let me go ahead and do that. Add stone to the board. Okay, so my thing is protected for 5 days. So let me show you the base outside. So if we take a look, you can see that we still haven't upgraded this piece yet. But now we have a base. And more hemp, apparently. So what we did was protect the TC with a honeycomb. Then we protected our base storage area with a foundation. And then that's how we got to the base today. Now for our storage area, you can actually do more stuff in here, but we're gonna save that for when we do utilities. And utilities are something you can use to build more stuff. And that's what we're going to be discussing in our next video here. Next guide. So we're going to go from building 101 to building 102. We're going to be talking about utilities in the world of Rusty Krusty. So enjoy, everybody, and we'll see you guys in the next base guide.